Hi, my name is Tyler Russo. Welcome to Billion Dollar Club. I'm going to talk to you about the most important thing at LVO that other content creators are too cowardly to cover. We saw some big changes in the LVO restaurant meta this year. There's a lot of restaurants last year that were closed, and a lot of people were upset about that, and almost all of them had reopened for the 2023 LVO season. But the only one that matters is the Guy Fieri Mexican place. I don't remember the name. Here, I can find it on Yelp, probably. There's like a donkey. This pasta tastes a little bit like soap, but it's the only food I have, so I'm going to eat it anyways. I'm a man who has good culinary taste. You can trust this. It's not just because he's the TV meme man that everyone used to dunk on, and then eventually had like some kind of wholesome arc turnaround. I don't really know. I don't know what happened. 2015, he was just like kind of mocked alongside the Smash Mouth man, and now everyone's like, he's a good guy. The reason why this is the best restaurant, it's the same reason why we love Warhammer. This is like kind of typical for a meal you would find at the Guy Fieri restaurant. All the food here, it tastes like something that your like college roommate would have made for you while you're really high at like 1:30 a.m. and been like, damn, this is the best nacho tower I've ever had in my life. You're an insane cook. When it's clearly just like the week-old bag of chips from your local grocery chain that has been smothered in cheese sauce, and the only reason you think it's anything more than that is because he found some cilantro. I don't know if you've played Warhammer in the past 2 decades, but if you have, you've probably noticed 40k is not the cleanest, best designed game. It has a lot of problems, but we love it anyways. You know why? It's awesome. It's fun. Sometimes the universe is fun. The models are fun. There's something about the indomitable spirit of 40k. Wait, let me go to the Yelp page. 3.5 stars. But it's what 40k is on Board Game Geek. 7.5 times 2. Okay, so Guy Fieri is like a half star lower than 40k 9th edition. But you know, they're like in the same bracket. It's from the heart. It's honest about its intent. 40k is just like, it's this. It's big space dudes that are like theoretically this like parody of fascism and dystopic bureaucracy that hasn't really truly resonated with arguably the majority of fans since like the late 80s or early 90s. But it's like sick. We hate the fascist spacemen, but we also love them. There's something comforting about the darkness of the far future, you know? And there's something very comforting about the honesty and simplicity of Guy Fieri's El Burro Borracho. There was a mac and cheese burger, which I regret not getting. I was high when I was at the restaurant. I was worried that I would freak out too much about like meat. I have a weird thing with meat. I like try not to eat it that often. And I was like, I don't know which way the coin of anxiety is gonna flip on this one. But yeah, it was is the emotional equivalent of a big power armored spaceman that just speaks to your inner 11-year-old and is like, wow, look at that big dumb thing. I want to emotionally embody that on some primitive level locked into early childhood memory. Whatever makes me like Warhammer also makes me like the food at Guy Fieri's El Burro Borracho. Overtness and indulgence and maximalism that makes it the perfect dining experience to pair with Warhammer 40k. It represents all Vegas in a way. I mean, LVO being the place for the biggest Warhammer tournament in the world is really appropriate. It's a maximalist city. It holds no bars. It's gaudy and offensive and awesome, and we love it. I had a great time. I always have a great time at LVO. Shout out to the 2 people who asked me for a picture in the bathroom. There was a couple other places that are worth mentioning. Runner-up restaurant for the 2023 dining tier list is got to be the Frontline Gaming secondhand store. I bought some more orcs because Lord knows I need those. 25,000 points was not enough. No amount of points will ever be. I caught myself assembling earlier, and there's a lot of my blood on them, but I kind of like it. I put my blood, sweat, and tears into 40k, just like Guy Fieri puts all of himself into the cultural identity that he embodies. He's an icon who holds no pretense about who he is. I mean, I don't know him. He could be the fucking opposite of this, but the idea of Guy Guy Fieri holds no pretense. There's a spirit of indulgence and simple pleasure, just like painting little models. I mean, I have a background in art, and let me tell you, it's a lot more fun for me to paint Warhammer models than it is to draw at this point in my life. That's just what happens. We all return to what we love from a primitive and simple place, and I feel like a lot of life is just thinking that the things that you really like the most are like something beneath you when you need to like be fancy and go into this like path that might not be necessarily who you truly are or want to be, but we're forced into this, system. Anyways, I don't know if this video makes sense.